This next one. So Texas obviously had their border policy. They said, hey, the federal government's not going to fix this, so we're going to have to take matters into our own hands. So Texas said, all right, cool. We catch you here illegally in Texas. We're deporting you. Gun or not, we're deporting you. And the federal government sued them for that, for actually doing their job. And it went back and forth in court. So the Supreme Court placed the stay on it, or excuse me, the courts placed the stay on it last week, said, you can't do that. You're going to have to wait till this thing gets played out in court. Then the Supreme Court said, no, we think you can do that. Go ahead. You can go ahead and enforce that law. And then a couple hours later, an appeals court comes in and says, no, 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 no. Check that. You actually can't do that. Question, how do you appeal the Supreme Court? Is it the Supreme Court? The Super Court? Like, what the hell is this? So anyway, the Supreme Court was apparently overruled, and they said, no, you can't enforce this. Here's the problem, guys. The Supreme Court has not exactly given me a lot of confidence that they're going to tell Texas that they can go ahead and enforce this border policy. Which means the southern border being protected or not is basically going to depend on who's in the White House. And if the Democrats win again, it's going to be a full-fledged invasion. So here's what's going to happen. The more and more likely it looks like Texas isn't going to get their way, the more and more likely it looks like Texas is going to secede from the Union. And if Texas secedes from the Union, there's a lot of states that are going to follow. Oklahoma, Florida, basically the entire South. Because I'm telling you right now, Texas is what? How many electoral votes is Texas? Do you know? 40 is the answer.
10.
40. Close. Not really. In terms of atom bombs, you were close. Here's the reality with Texas, though. Texas is 40 electoral votes that the Republicans depend on. You basically, if a Republican doesn't win Texas, he's not going to get elected. It's not a dark red state, but it's red enough. If Texas secedes, a lot of states like Oklahoma, like Missouri, like Nebraska, like South Carolina, Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, whatever, are going to have some real hard questions they got to ask themselves. Like, hey, are we willing to stick around here? Because here's what's going to happen. Texas breaks away. The Democrats get a super majority in both houses of Congress and the White House. Then they stack the Supreme Court, and there's nothing stopping them. We become second-class citizens. So these red states that split the country, by the way, because California and Washington ain't going with us. Colorado, New Mexico ain't going with us. Oregon, Hawaii, they're not going with us. So these states that split the middle of the country are going to have some real tough conversations they got to have. Like, hey, do we go join this new free republic of Texas and basically go through hell? Because, if it would be hell to live in a state that's seceded from the United States. It would be constant civil war. You'd have an aggressive foreign rival on both your borders, both sides of the country, in the United States government. Canada, Mexico would probably assist the U.S. or the federal government in whatever excursions they had against us. It would not be good. You're trying to get a new economy set up, a new form of government. The Founding Fathers basically struck gold. It was basically lightning striking. It ain't happening again. So it would be hell to try to establish a new country smack dab in the middle of another one. Ask South Africa how that works. Lesotho or whatever it's called. So we'd have some soul searching to do. Do we want to go through hell for God knows how long establishing this new country, or do we stay in the current one and get trampled on by the Democrats? The current one that doesn't represent us at all and basically looks at us as second-class citizens. That's some hard soul searching we got to do, and I don't know the answer to it. There's no good one. Tough decisions have to be made. Are we pulling the plug on Grandma? Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, be sure to click the link in the description to get the full episode on Rumble. If you prefer to listen along, you could actually get us on Spotify, Spreaker, and iHeartRadio. You can also go to www.outlawstreamers.com to learn more about not just my show, but tons of other great shows and all the exciting projects they have coming up. Follow my socials at Caleb Isn't Funny on Twitter and Instagram, at Caleb Salvatore Comedy on the Chinese Spy app that is TikTok, and be sure to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thanks, and we'll see you every Saturday for brand new episodes of That's Based. Peace.